Det var 5. Et moi au début de la course, après moi j'étais obligé de réchauffer avant le tir. Merci.
Lykke til! Takk.
Hei.
Well, a warm welcome to the final day of competition here in Sjusjøen at the Open European Championships for the men's relay, and we have the women's relay coming up this afternoon. Two amazing events that are going to promise lots of excitement and drama, and today we will see the men go round this 3 times 2.5 kilometer loops, 4 athletes back to back from each nation. And the difference on the range being today that for every single miss, they have the possibility of using up to 3 spare rounds. It's cold once again, as we've become acquainted with. The snow is still falling, and it's a wintry scene out here in Sjusjøen at the Natrastillen Stadium, a location which is regarded as being one of the most incredible ski locations on the international circuit, especially going out into the mountains for long ski tours. But here is your start order. France wearing bib number 1, Germany with bib number 2, and Norway bib number 3. Sweden with 4, but with a team that doesn't stand the same quality as the 3 before it. But interestingly, just on paper, Germany being one of the strongest teams here. And if we look further down the order, we have teams going all the way down to bib number 24. We have Great Britain in there with Webb, followed by Chronicle, Benson, then Will Mead. Denmark is fielding a team. Moldova at the back. Belgium just in front of Great Britain. And Slovenia with bib number 19. And a pretty impressive team by the Germans, being so fast on the skis. And Seidel, he's going to be wearing bib number 1. He's had a 4th place, a 24th place, and a 10th place. But he has not yet had a medal. And although today seems to be like a guaranteed team medal, the question for the Germans is whether they can win. And strategically speaking, they absolutely can. But they may just have to lean on the fact that they are skiing the fastest as a team. Kaiser wearing bib number 2 for Germany as we take this bird's eye view of the Natrastillen Stadium, this long plain of snow here behind the shooting range, where the biathletes line up ready to go for the mass start. I'll be Scott Dixon, taking you through the events as they unfold today for the men's 4x7.5 kilometre relay, and likewise for the women's to follow this afternoon. David Komatz of Austria now. His best place at this championships, and the sprint was 31st, missing just one target on that occasion. And now Capillari of Italy. It's been getting better and better with the races, and in the pursuit he went the perfect 20 out of 20, one of the few to do so. Now Sweden not with the strongest team here. Andersson taking out bib number 1, his best position 32nd here, and that was in the pursuit. But Antonin Giganat, now we know what he is capable of. The gold medalist in the individual, but not managing to break the top 20 in either the sprint or the pursuit thereafter. As I've already mentioned, Seidel of Germany looking for his first medal. And Gerhardsen, the strategy perhaps from the Norwegians to put him first. He's got a huge amount of talent. And just stay with the pack. And we're off for the men's 4x7.5 kilometre relay competition here at the Open European Championships. 24 nations, all side by side, all of whom want to finish. And as you can see, all of whom want to get to the front of this frantic group. The chaos of the mass start can sometimes lead to a tangle of poles and skis, but other times the pace can be led at the front in a somewhat pedestrian, casual manner, as the athletes know that so much of the relay competition is just psychological. And you may ask, what is the evidence for that? And look at the bunching there. You can see the accordion effect, which occurs on hills. Those at the front are able to continue their usual rhythm. However, those behind get bunched up as the group comes to the base of a hill. And that causes those at the back of the group to slow down and then have to accelerate again just to stay with the group. That takes a little bit extra work and energy out of the legs. But what to expect today? Well, statistically speaking, half of the best nations in the world are going to end up on the penalty loop. That is the reality of relays. It does something to the minds of biathletes when they know that they're not just letting themselves down if they miss, but they feel as though they're also letting their nation down, their teammates down. And a great start there from Gerhardsen. A lovely freeze frame as you saw him lift his feet into the air, suspending all of his body weight down on his poles to really utilize the lat muscles, the traps in the center of the back. And we now have once again the opportunity to look at this most incredible landscape. The snow has fallen, and Sjusjøen is now one of the most beautiful places for races. Up at the front, Andersson of Sweden, taking advantage of the pace, but perhaps more pertinently, Sjusjøen of Poland has made it up to the front. Now the advantage for the likes of Sjusjøen to make it to the front and to close that ground is that they don't have to suffer the accordion effect like I said before, but they also can get into the range and fire that first shot down. Marcus Webb there at the back, trying to hang on to that shift of pace dictated by the front of the pack as they get into one of the most comfortable downhill recovery sections, the calm before the storm. this gentle decline leading in to the harshest incline of the whole course. Each athlete will go up this hill 3 times. And you can see now at the back of the field, a slight gap has opened up, representing that change of pace. Australia, all the way from bib number 23, has got up to the front. Now the risk that the top nations are taking, if they take an early pace early on, is that other nations will start to feel excitable and the adrenaline will send them up to the front. And now you've got a bunch of nations who were far back initially, all causing a little bit of congestion at the front. And then it isn't hard to imagine the likes of Germany or Sweden, you can see there now already, with Andersson getting a little bit caught up, a bit further back. Marcus Webb nice and relaxed at the back of the field. And here is the plateau at the top of the biggest hill. There's a slight recovery at this right hand here, where they break for a moment into a free skate before bringing the poles back in. Gerhardsen at the front, followed closely by Antonin Gigonat. This more relaxed pace in his favor. France have a 52.6% chance of being on the penalty loop. And that's based off the last 37 races. They've been on the penalty loop, or excuse me, they've been on the penalty loop 17 times and they've cleared 20 times. So somebody in that group of 4 may just be the first to be on that loop. The pressure is so great. And in the last 37 relays, France has had 38 penalty loops. Now Antonin Gigonat coming in, filtering into lane 1. They will go onto the lane that corresponds with their bib number. And it's now business as usual for each one of these biathletes, focusing on their own process, unperturbed by that which is going on around them. And the first shot goes down by Sweden. Fast shooting there for Andersson. It's good, it's clear, and it's 5 out of 5 for Andersson. And now Capillari, he matches that with a clean shoot. Gerhardsen now goes clear, 5 for 5, no spares required. And Oscar Andersson, he takes the early lead. Germany is clear without using any spares. France has had to use one with Gigonat, but he goes clear. Marcus Webb from Great Britain goes 5 for 5 without the use of any spares. Czechia, 2 spare rounds required to get all 5 targets, but as yet, there are no penalty loops until Australia will be the first and perhaps the only on the penalty loop. Bradford there struggling to get the targets down. 8 rounds to get 5 targets down. And now the order has changed. Lithuania have managed to climb all the way from 15th and are now in 3rd place as they came out of chute number 1. Finland, who are ranked 8 overall, they are in 4th place. But take a look at the leader. Andersson, who has a 93% hit rate in prone. He's had 2 World Cup starts to his name. Has started out well, but he does struggle a little bit in the stand. 73% hit rate, but Seidel of Germany on the right side of your screen, now off the screen, has decided that it's time to make a charge. He is hurtling up this hill and trying to close ground on the current leader, Georgsen of Norway. His job today is stay off the penalty loop, stay within connection to the leaders, or perhaps in Germany, who are for sure today's favourites, at least in my books. And the Germans, if you just take the cumulative results from this championship so far, Germany has 108. That means if you finish first in all 3 races, you'd get 3 points. And then across the whole team, adding those up, 108 versus Norway with 194, the second best team so far. Just in terms of the average results, France with 201, they're pretty close. Sweden down with 564 total. And therefore, outside my purview for a podium today. But so far so good for Sweden. Perhaps the underdogs can do some damage. Beauvais of Belgium in 11th place. He shot clear but is 12.1 seconds back, perhaps on account of slightly slower shooting. As now Bradesco is leading the chasing pack, 32 seconds down. And Denmark doing well to hang in there. And you can see now the lead is being very well maintained by Andersson. But behind him, everybody is working hard to stay with Seidel of Germany, who's trying to close the gap. Now, as Seidel came out of the range, he was 12.6 seconds back. He's managed by the 3.7 kilometer checkpoint to get that to 5.3. And now we're going to see if that gap has even further closed. And it has, down to 3.8. Georgsen of Norway has gone with him all the way, just claiming about 3.5 seconds on the Swede. Georgsen not in the form that he has been in and will undoubtedly be in come the Junior World Championships. But he's got a great team behind him. Kalkenberg has been getting better by the race. He started out with a poor result in the individual. He takes out leg number 2 for Norway. Nevland of Norway wears bib number 3 for the Norwegian relay team. And then Fry with taking out the anchor leg. And now Andersson has been caught by the German Seidel, who is certainly on a mission to set his team up for a win today. The Germans can do it. They have not yet won a medal at this, won a gold medal at this championships, and today could be the first. France are still at the very top of the medal table at this Open European Championships with 4 golds, 2 silvers, 5 bronze medals, 11 in total. In large part due to the immense success from the French women 2 days in a row, taking all the medals that are available. But now the athletes filtering into the lanes that correspond with their position entering the shooting range. Andersson on lane number 1, Seidel on lane number 2, and Sweden starting out with a miss. Italy have gone 3 for 3, but missed the last two, almost as if he was shooting too fast. Finland looked to be doing something special, but missed the last shot. And now the door is open for anybody to get through, and Ranta manages to get the targets down first alongside Andersson of Sweden, who does well to stay on his shoulders. Norway, they go 5 out of 5. Gerhardsen, the one to claim that, but in slow order. But France with a surprise penalty. There it is. France are going to be going around the 150-meter loop. Antonin Guéguenat, the one to do it. Seidel on the loop. And Belgium on the loop not once, but twice. Bouvet is going to be devastated with that performance. And Antonin Guéguenat now trying to undo the damage caused by his inaccuracy on the range. And so begins the fight, the comeback for for France. France have work to do. Germany has work to do. 44 seconds down off the lead. And Gerhardsen of Norway has done exactly what was needed of him today. He's 4.7 seconds down off the lead at the end of shoot number 2. He's managed to close the gap, now on the heels of the Swede. But he has to seize this opportunity if he has any fight left in his legs. Gerhardsen will really benefit from opening up a gap so his team have something to work with. Czechia is still there. Capillari doing well. 8.4 seconds back at the end of shoot number 2. Guéguenat really working hard now to make good on that lost time. And in the distance behind him, you can see Seidel of Germany doing the exact same. And it is so often the case in these races. The relay does something to the minds of biathletes. That pressure. But those penalty loops have come early for France and Germany. And it is always possible that when they come back into the race, the pressure is no longer on the shoulders of legs 2, 3, and 4. They can somewhat go into their race with a relaxed state of mind. Now, Gerhardsen has opened up a gap now over Ranta, over Komatz, over Andersson, and is continuing the doppel dance up this hill. Komatz is trying to go with him. Ranta responding, but struggling. Kokmanek of Czechia, 6.9 seconds back. He's closed some time on the leader. But now Gerhardsen really has to just give it everything in towards the finish line to prevent any more closing of that gap. To make it harder for the French, one of the favorites today, to close the gap. To keep the Germans at bay, who cumulatively as a team have the fastest skiers. And there you can see it. Komatz managing to successfully stay on the heels of Gerhardsen. Ranta failing to do so. Andersson giving everything he has after he worked hard on the range to use only 2 spare rounds to get the 10 targets down. But lots of penalty loops. Canada was on the loop. Australia, Poland. And now Gerhardsen has an advantage of 0.6 seconds over Komatz, who's on his heels, but Andersson has lost now 8.1 seconds. That gap's getting bigger, and those who made an initial early chase are paying the price. Their legs are tired. At the end of shoot number 2, Guéguenat was 33.3 seconds down. He's now 36.1 seconds down. Dinda of Lithuania, 42 seconds back. He's dropped lots of time from 15 seconds, but Seidel of Germany, he's dropped from 44 seconds to 50 seconds, so the pace at the front is extremely harsh. And now Gerhardsen has done everything that was asked of him from the Norwegian team. He's managed to do a fantastic last lap, opening the gap over Germany, opening the gap over France. Komats has done a great job for Austria and now handing over in second place. But what a performance from Gerhardsen, who now hands the baton to Kasper Kalkenberg of Norway. Oberhauser of Austria has some work to do, and now in third place, Czechia handing over 11.9 seconds back. Sweden in fourth, Finland in fifth, Ukraine managing to get in there in sixth. The gap is still tight, but all the way down to France in a time of 35.2 seconds. And that now is an aggressive charge out of the line from Levey, who knows how much work he has to do, but Seidel is absolutely spent. His legs are exhausted, his mind is shattered. And now the work for the chase and the clawing back of time will be done by Kaiser. And after Kaiser, he will hand over to Riedmüller, who will hand over to Fund. It's not over for the Germans by any stretch. But with 52.9 seconds down, it's certainly not the start that they were hoping for. Now here's your chasing group. As the momentum settles, while these biathletes focus on their pacing, not entirely sure if Team USA was going quite so relaxed there, charging with that strong V1 up the hill. Levey, you can see the gap. He knows what work needs to be done. But Jake Brown really was working hard on lap one, and pacing being so important, not least because they've had 3 races in, or this is now 4 races in 5 days. Their legs are very tired. But Oberhauser, he has the lead now. Kalkenberg wisely letting him do the work, taking advantage of the drafting effect, sitting on the back of the skis of another athlete. But now Oberhauser deciding to let Kalkenberg go by and do some work. Kalkenberg obliges, goes straight past. As now Biathlon comes through 14.9 seconds back. So now the chasing group has bunched. It's now one solid cohort, and Jake Brown still trying to close that gap for USA. He's gained no time from the leaders, and in fact lost 0.1 seconds. But Levey now of the chasing groups, 32.3 back, so managed to gain 2.9 seconds. And Kaiser, how much left does he have in those legs to attack after consistently, time and time again, pulling out great performances on the skis? In the pursuit, he finished in third. He got the bronze medal, and that was with 2 mistakes on the range. 90% hit rate on the day. So the pace at the front, led by Kalkenberg now. after Oberhauser let him past, is not so aggressive. And in fact, they are allowing the gap to be gradually closed. The chase being held by Bionat, who's one of the fastest, one of the best. He climbed all the way from 23rd to 6th place. An impressive 17 places, which at the sharp end of any pursuit is no easy task. Levay now 31 seconds back. And at the exchange, France were 35, so about 4 seconds gained on the lead, which seems about right. It doesn't seem like Levay is going too fast on this first lap, and it seems like Kalkenberg is performing fairly consistent with how he's been over the last couple of races. His ski speed has been down in the 30s or 40s in the individual. As we get to see this chasing lovely drone shot in towards the bridge, where the drone pilot masterfully goes underneath before showing us the beautiful Natrestilen Stadium here in Sjusjøen, Norway, where the snow's been falling, where the temperature's barely been above 10 degrees, if at all, and where true winter is bringing us this Open European Championships. Now, Kalkenberg coming in towards lane number 1 with Oberhauser on his heels, has the pressure of shooting for Norway. Oberhauser will be on mat number 2, and Bionat of Italy has made a concerted effort to make his presence known to the leading 2. He settles down. The leaders will hear his poles clatter. But the first shot goes down for Kalkenberg, and it's a hit. But he follows it with 2 misses in quick succession. The wind is breezy. And now 3 spares for Kalkenberg to get 2 targets. Bionat is going well for Italy. He hasn't missed so far. Absolutely fantastic shooting from the Italian. Sweden goes clear. Czechia goes clear without the use of any spares. And there you have it. The Norwegians will be on the penalty loop at least once. And now the order has changed. Oberhauser is in the lead. 1 spare required. Ukraine goes clear. Only 1 penalty loop for the Norwegians. And now your 3 favourites are outside the top 5. Perhaps even further. Jake Brown managing to get 5 with 7 rounds. And Finland with Kotikumpu managing to get all the targets down, but having to use all of his spares. Now Estonia is really in a spot of bother. Kalkenberg in 9th. Kaiser in 11th. And Levay in France in 10th. Now the 3 favourites are all together, 9th, 10th and 11th. They have the depth across all 4 starters, and therefore are able to rely on their average performances to gradually climb up. But with Kalkenberg's penalty there, it adds a little bit extra pressure to his stand shoot. And also, Kaiser is faster than Kalkenberg here at this Open European Championships. If Kalkenberg tries to stay with Kaiser's pace, it could put him in trouble on the range when he's trying to settle that rifle, holding it steady while his legs shake. The pressure is now on for the Norwegian team. And here we are, the trio who will be chasing, led currently by Levay. As a team, they've used 6 spare rounds. They've been around the penalty loop once. No team before these three have had any penalty loops. Estonia only going round the loop once, and that's despite the fact that Neverov had to hit all of his targets remaining. But Biathlon at the end of the exchange was 21 seconds back, but now has a significant lead. And he's leading that group with Oberhauser in second, Larsson of Sweden in third, and Moracek of Czechia in fourth. And you can see now where the leaders cannot, through the trees, over the trees, the chasing group who are about to take that loop round to the right. Now Nasiko of Ukraine comes through in fifth. Are they one to watch today? They could very well be. If they can get the targets down, but likewise if any team can get the targets down. Levet of France, 42 seconds back, coming out of chute number 3. He's managed to close that, or in fact he's lost time now, 45 seconds back. So Biathlon at the front, making it very difficult for Norway, France and Germany to claw back time. Biathlon in exceptional form. But Biathlon has some trouble on the shooting range. In stand shooting, his average performance this season is 56%. His average last season was 68%, 73 the year before that, and 79 the year before that. So that indicates that Biathlon, although doing very well right now, has a history of difficulty in stand shooting. And will he be able to stay controlled under the pressure of coming first into the shooting range? Nasiko, 28 seconds back for Ukraine. Jake Brown doing a great job, 38.2 seconds back. He's only dropped 4 seconds to the Italian. And now Kaiser taking the lead, taking the initiative, and helping Levet out. Kalkenberg doing exactly the right thing, just clinging on, trying to stay with. And Kalkenberg, only 20 years old. He'll be competing at the Junior World Championships this year. He's got a lot of experience to gain. And if Antonin Guéguenat can go on to the penalty loop, it surely takes off the pain of Kalkenberg having to do so. It's almost an inevitability that half of the best nations go on the loop. That's what the statistics tell us. And at least once. So now Biathlon coming into the shooting range with a lead. He's done the same again, worked hard along the flat and opened up a gap over Oberhauser of 2.2 seconds. But has Biathlon worked too hard on the skis? Can he improve on his statistics now on this stand shooting, his least favorite shooting format? Austria on mat 2, Larsson on lane 3. And now with a first miss from Italy. Make that 2 misses. And Larsson of Sweden now with 3 misses. And would you believe it, there are more misses on those targets than there are hits. Biathlon has done exactly what his statistics alluded to. He's missed and will be on the penalty loop at least once, now twice. This is painful for Italy. The wind is up. It's not easy shooting conditions, but Sweden are now on the loop twice. Austria must get these targets down, but Ukraine go 5 for 5. Ukraine are going to take the lead. Excellent shooting now and an opportunity for Kalkenberg to get all 5 targets down, and if he does, he's going to come out into the top 3, but misses the last shot. Switzerland now, they go 5 out of 5, and all of a sudden the order has changed once again, and Nasiko is in second place behind Czechia. Switzerland with Riebli are in third, and Kalkenberg has managed to redeem himself with a great stand shoot. France have gone clear but needed to use 2 spare rounds, and once again Germany are going to be on the penalty loop. Kaiser in trouble. Germany, as my favourites coming into this race, are in big trouble. Well, coming out of shoot number 4, Marek of Czechia is in the lead. He's earned it with accurate shooting, controlled skiing, and he's managing to stay in ahead of Nasiko of Ukraine by just 3.2 seconds. While Kalkenberg, who paced himself sensibly on the last lap, didn't do too much work, managed to hold his nerve, get the targets down, and is now very much on the chase. France also on the chase. Coming into the shooting range in 9th, leaving in 6th, 40 seconds back. Only 1 penalty loop, but 8 spare rounds used. But last year, Norway took the victory in this event, hitting 39 targets out of 40. Christiansen, the only one on that occasion to use a spare, but Fry taking the anchor leg for Norway, claiming that victory by a significant enough margin that he could take a selfie before the finish line. Now, Jonas Marek of Czechia still with a lead. A lead of now 7.5 seconds. That's opened up from 3.2 I should say. Kalkenberg has managed to get in ahead of Riebli of Switzerland. Kalkenberg actually having closed 5 seconds down on Moracek. Levey has closed 10 seconds down on the lead. So now France is beginning to get back into the race. Levey working hard to do that damage all on the skis. And he's managed to stay off the loop. But there's your gap between the leaders. Nasiko of Ukraine now on the heels of Moracek, coming up this final and steepest part of the course. Made harder by the cold temperature. And Moracek, the 24-year-old, with only a 78% hit rate in stand, still managing to successfully get those targets down. Nasiko 8.2 seconds back, and Kalkenberg 15 seconds down now. Managing to open a gap over Riebli of Switzerland. And Kalkenberg getting closer and closer with every meter he covers. The chasing group now with Biathlon 30 seconds back. That's despite the penalty loops. He was 47 seconds back, so has gained a whole 17 seconds on the leaders. Up till this point, Levey has gone with him. He's taken advantage of the free ride led by the Italian. 31 seconds down. And now Maracek is going to come in the lead halfway through this race, and it's Czechia who are going to be exchanging in first position. And there is your leaders at the halfway point. Czechia in first place, Ukraine are in second, and Kalkenberg doing such hard work in that last lap. Now handing over in third place to Nevland of Norway. Riebli in fourth, handing over, or Switzerland in fourth, now handing over to Dupasquier of Switzerland. And beyond that, with those unfortunate penalty loops, we'll be handing over to Barale and Gatin Paturel now with an opportunity to claw back even more time, or having clawed back plenty of time for France on that last lap. Kaiser now of Germany, he hands over to Riedmüller, one of the fastest men out there on the tracks. And Finland were up there at the sharp end for some time, but now down in 11th place. And now this race really has thrown some unexpected events into the mix, with our three favorite nations, Germany, Norway and France, all having a lot of trouble. But now Norway will be comfortable, back where they'll feel like they belong, at the front. Now Vaclavic of Czechia in the lead, 41 minutes and 14 seconds to get to the 16.2 kilometer mark. Borovic of Ukraine in second place, 15.4 seconds back, with Nevland trailing. And Nevland will be hunting down that lead. Paturel now of France, despite the penalty loop, is only 24.9 seconds back, with Barale of Italy, and despite their two penalty loops, in 25 seconds back. Riedmüller, also having done two penalty loops for Germany, is 38 seconds down, and he's capable of clawing back time, perhaps not on skis over Vaclavic. Vaclavic is one of the fastest out there. Now here is your leader, Adam Vaclavic of Czechia, with an unexpected early success for Czechia, and with Norway now getting past Ukraine, deciding that it's a good time to try and close that gap. They can hear the commotion behind them as France and Germany are on the chase. Barale of Italy, 23.6 seconds back. He's gaining time, and even in the last 400 meters has managed to gain close to a second. Paturel of France, 22.8 seconds down. In 4th place, and at the exchange they were in 6th, so managing to get in ahead of Italy and Switzerland since the exchange. And here is Vaclavic now. He's an excellent prone shooter. 88% this season. That's better than his 85 of last season. And so we can expect him to be able to get these targets down effectively. But he does have the psychological stress of being at the front of this field, perhaps when he would not have expected to have been there. So now contending with a scenario he may not have had running through his mind before the race. Adam Vaclavic comes on to mat number 1, lane number 1 for Czechia. Nevland onto lane number 2 for Norway, and Borovic of Ukraine in lane number 3. Now so close behind them, Paturel is already on the mat, but 2 shots have gone down for Czechia. It's the perfect start for Vaclavic. Missing the last though, he loads a spare round and he does it quickly. Can he get the last down? Nevland is going well, he hasn't missed so far, and he goes 5 out of 5. It's clean shooting for Nevland, and Norway back where they belong on home snow. They're going to take the lead. And Czechia, they get the targets down, so too do Italy. Sweden have gone clear, they're still in touch, but Vaclavic now 5.6 seconds off the lead, and Barale of Italy 7 seconds down. Austria have gone clear, and Germany a relief. The targets have gone down. Ukraine had to use 2 spare rounds, but got 5 targets down. Gaëtan Paturel for France in 5th place, 18.7 seconds. Barely losing any time since the shooting range. Switzerland are still there, but Riedmüller of Germany still working hard. Since the exchange, he's closed that gap from 43 seconds to 29 seconds. Now, Vaclavic of Czechia lost around about 16.5 seconds just in that space of time on shooting to Nevland of Norway. However, that time has already been caught back up, as Vaclavic is one of the fastest athletes on the field. 125 World Cup starts to his name, compared to Nevland's 5. Nevland, of course, competing in Novo Mesto. And the snow is beginning to fall more heavily as the stakes get higher and higher. As Riedmüller is being told exactly what work needs to be done to salvage this race for Germany. And the question you may have going on through your mind right now is, can Germany come back? And the answer to that is most definitely yes at this point. However, time is running out. 29 seconds back. And that will close even further as Riedmüller skis faster. He must get these next 5 targets down. As up at the front, Barale of Italy doing well, skiing alongside Vaclavic, as that snowfall just intensifies. And the gap for Nyqvist of Sweden, 30 World Cup starts to his name. He's on the heels of Paturel of France. as they are on the chase to close down the gap to the leaders. The lead, which seems to be consistently changing, and that gap is getting shorter and shorter now. Nyqvist and Paturel have closed it from 15 and 18 seconds respectively, all the way down to 4.9 and 5.7. It's fast skiing from Paturel. Rietmuller has got it down from 29 seconds from the shooting range to 16. Muehlbacher coming through at 18 seconds back. And now 8 teams all within 30 seconds at the 18.7 kilometer mark. That's over halfway. 30 kilometers the distance. That's not including the penalty loops, which so many teams have done. Czechia, they haven't been around the loop. Borovic of Ukraine leading for, or in 8th position for that nation, and they have not been on the loop either, but it looks like the pace was just a little bit too slow, and Paturel has not just caught up with the leading group, but he's soared past and is opening up a gap. Nevland has no response, Vaklavik has no response, Barali has no response, and Rietmuller is almost on the heels of the leading group. So there you have it. France has managed to reassume control of this relay competition. Germany is still playing catch-up, and Norway, with Nevland, was not able to respond to that change of pace at the front. Now Paturel has had a podium, a bronze medal in the sprint competition where he shot clear in the pursuit. Despite missing 5, only dropped 2 positions and ended up in 5th. But the front might not be the optimal place to be with these snowy conditions. A couple of spots back do add just that tiny fraction of additional or less friction from the skis to the track. But it is marginal, but margins matter in races as tight as these. Now our 3 favourites, Germany, Norway, France, are all in the top 6, separated by a mere 14 seconds as we come in for the 6th shooting of this race standing. Nyqvist struggling for Sweden to stay with that extreme pace led by Paturel. But here we are now. Paturel has some work to do. His stand shooting is not his favourite, 74% hit rate.
12 seconds behind.
Vaklavik has managed to stay with him despite that attack up the hill. Czechia is going to go onto lane number 2. Nevland of Norway on home snow in lane number 3. Italy is still there on lane 4. Sweden on lane 5, and Germany joining them just a little bit later on lane 6. It's a good start for Paturel, who's got 2 targets, but Nevland is the one who's shooting fastest and most accurately. He gets 5 out of 5, and Norway will reassume their leading position. Excellent shooting now, and all the other nations on the back foot. Martin Nevland of Norway now in the lead once again. Italy have gone 5 targets down, but had to use spares. Paturel on the chase, 9 seconds down in 2nd place. And Italy come out in 3rd. Germany need to get this next and final shot down with their next and final spare. Sweden in 4th. And he gets it. Rietmuller manages to stay off that penalty loop, but only just. 8 rounds to get 5 shots down. And now has some serious work to do on this final lap if Germany want to be in with a chance of getting on to the top of the podium. And there is another penalty loop, Switzerland being the victims of it now, and potentially could be on as many as 4 times if they miss these spare rounds. Borovic now of Ukraine in 8th place. Coming out of chute number 6. We're over halfway and Norway's in the lead despite their penalty loop. And Paterel of France are in 2nd place in hot pursuit of the Norwegians, wanting to reinforce their absolute dominance at this European Championships. France, of course, with 4 gold medals at this event. 2 silvers, 5 bronze. They've got 11 medals in total. All the other nations combined have 7. Norway, Ukraine, Germany, Italy. That is dominance. France is a force to be reckoned with in terms of their biathlon development. They're dominant at the Youth Junior World Championships, where they had 16 medals in total. Norway matching them for golds, but not with the depth of performances that we see here. But there you can see the gap now closing. Nevland unable to stave off the Frenchman. And the gap is closed. Paterel on the heels of the Norwegian, but will he try and break him? Almost certainly, and it will almost certainly be on the hill, the steepest part of the course. Vaclavic, 12.6 seconds back. He's done very well, managing to claim 12 seconds on the Norwegians in ski speed, and that's before the hardest part of the course. Rietmuller, 31 seconds back. It's almost repeat of history since the last lap, where he was around about 29 seconds back. All that hard work on the skis lost by the use of 3 spares on the shooting range. Mühlbacher of Austria now in 7th. Exhausted, in agony. They all are. But now let's just evaluate how much agony is Nevland in. There are your leaders, and we will soon zoom in as Paterel, I believe, up at the front, still doing doppeldance or V2 deep into the hill, whereas Nevland breaking into a high-frequency V1, skate 1, or paddling as the Norwegians call it. He's trying to stay with Gaëtan Paterel, but failing to do so. Paterel opening a gap after having closed in on the Norwegian. Vaclavic, he is trying to close that gap as well. He did well to do so, coming out of the range, but perhaps working too hard too soon. The gap has reopened up now to 17 seconds, but he's still closing on the Norwegian, but losing to the Frenchman. Czechia in 3rd. Germany now in 4th, getting in ahead of Barali of Italy. Nyqvist of Sweden in 6th place, trying to hang on in there, but Barali responding to the pace of the German, as Germany really working hard in the form of Rietmuller over the top of the hardest part of the course. Our favorite 3 are now in the top 4. And this Open European Championship has just brought drama after drama, plot twist after plot twist, and what remains to be told in this race. Nevland has managed to get in behind Gaëtan Paterel of France. Paterel is going to be handing over to Lejeune of France. Nevland is going to be handing over to Isaac Leknes-Frey, the gold medalist, the 2-time silver medalist at this European Championships, and it's France and Norway up at the front. Czechia doing such a great job to maintain their position. Now they are in 3rd for Adam Vaclavic. who's going to be handing over to Sjusjøen of Czechia, who's got some work to do to stave off the fantastic Fund of Germany, who's had such great performances here at this Open European Championships. He's in 4th, Italy in 5th, and Sweden in 6th. Austria now coming in 7th place. They are going to hand over with a gap of 57 seconds to the lead. And now Haslinger has work to do. And now Isak Leknes-Frey, he is your best performer. If you add up his results from all these races, it totals to 5, 2 seconds and a first. Leonhard Fund of Germany has the next best performer. All of his results combined have added up to 15 places, so he's been at the sharp end, consistency. But now pressure is on for the Frenchman, as we see Lithuania now in 9th place in behind Finland, who are in 8th. Borovik of Ukraine now handing over to Bogdan Cymbal, one of the most experienced biathletes for Ukraine. He has the capacity to do well today. But the fastest on that leg, Paturel, 12 seconds ahead of Rietmuller and 18 seconds ahead of Nevland. But Isak Leknes-Frey, he's not hanging about. He knows that he's the better of the two of them. And Lejeune, the 23-year-old, has a significant amount of pressure on his shoulders to try and withstand Isak Leknes-Frey's brilliance, not just on the skis, but also in the shooting range. Frey relieved to gain that victory yesterday after being twice behind the French athletes. Sjusjøen in 3rd for Czechia. Fund of Germany, 25 seconds back, with Pircher of Italy in 5th. Nordgren of Sweden. Sweden doing a really fantastic job, performing above where I'd have estimated them to be. Christoph Pircher, the 22-year-old Italian, was 7th in the individual with 2 mistakes, two of which I believe came late on. And you can see now Isak Leknes-Frey leading the way, not with the same amount of space he had last year in Martel Van Martello in Italy at this Open European Championships there, where he was also the 4th leg. And he's chasing down teams which they will soon lap. And if they do, they will be withdrawn from this competition. Lejeune has to stay composed. Well, it was going to happen eventually, as now that hard work Vaklavik did to preserve that 3rd spot, and now Sjusjøen has been taken in by Fund of Germany. Pircher of Italy 25 seconds back, and certainly has a shot at a podium today. Here's the final descent. As they round this right-hand bend, they'll go under the bridge and into the stadium, where Bionat, from that bridge to the shooting range, worked so hard for Italy, but lost so much on the range with those 2 loops. Impressively, the Italians still managing to stay up there at the sharp end. But here's your leaders now. Isaac Leknes-Frey in ahead of Valentin Lejeune. Lejeune only 23 years of age. Isaac Frey, 22 years of age. And the first for both of these athletes on the shooting range here at the Open European Championships. The snow is falling heavily. It's crossing the lens of the camera, indicating a wind, but the flags telling a story of somewhat calmness. Frey getting the first three down. He looked comfortable. Lejeune matching it, but it's a bit slower. And Frey, he goes 5 out of 5. Lejeune goes 5 out of 5. And that gap is not going to close easily whatsoever. But there, Frey looks over his right shoulder, identifies that he has a gap. And that gap is precisely 3.7 seconds. Lejeune has work to do now to close it. Germany is about to go 5 for 5. They do. Excellent shooting. Pircher missing 3. And now Fund is in touch with the leaders. He's going to come out still with a gap, but our three favourites are back on top. Fund, 26.9 seconds, his disadvantage behind Frey of Norway. Sweden still doing exceptionally well, but not as well as Czechia, who are 38.2 seconds down. Nordgren, 44 seconds back for Sweden in 5th place. And with a sigh of relief, despite those misses and all spares used, Pircher of Italy comes out in 6th, 54.7 seconds down. Now Frey has a gap over Lejeune. But Lejeune, with that skip off his right leg onto his poles, full body weight commitment to those poles, has managed to claw back time as Austria, they get out of the range with all 5 targets. Finland do the same, but no spares required. But to go back to that attack there from Lejeune, he closed the gap on Frey. Frey allowed it. Now, did Frey allow it because he doesn't have the energy to keep that gap open? Or is he focusing on his own race? It's impossible to know. Stryvtecki for Czechia, really charging. And look at that lovely corner technique, poling on the outside leg. And that deep breath followed by one shallow one from Frey as the targets just fell down so easily. His drills were so swift. Gaining that 3.7 seconds over Lejeune. Had the advantage of making Lejeune work hard on the second lap. If the duo both shoot clean, then it's going to be hard work for Lejeune on the last lap. Frey now tactically moving out the way, allowing Lejeune to go free to the front. He's playing a tactical game, something like what we've seen from Christiansen on the World Cup. He likes to be strategic, play mind games, because this race is so psychological. Fund for Germany in 3rd. Second last time they're going to come through this checkpoint. The stakes could not be higher. And the gap could not be closer at the front. Just 0.6 seconds separating the leaders. Stryvtecki of Czechia now 4th place. 39 seconds back. As we turn to Sweden and Italy. Sweden as individuals have performed poorly over the course of this European Championships by Sweden's standards. But as a team, they've pulled it together and now have an opportunity to contend with Sweden and perhaps Czechia for fourth. The favourites today were Germany by a significant margin, just if you measure their overall performances so far at this championships. But now, Valentin Lejeune of France is your current leader with Fry on his heels and with Fund working hard to close the gap. Let's take a look now at what damage Fund has done. He did nothing coming out of the range to the 26.2 kilometre mark, or nothing being 0.7 seconds to be precise, but there you can see that gap has really closed, and it has closed to such an extent it has actually blown my mind. 26 seconds down was Fund at the 26.2 kilometre mark, and then that became 19 seconds. So in the space of just 400 meters, he closed 7 seconds. Now, I know Fry did move to the side and allow Lejeune to go through, but surely Lejeune hasn't just slowed the pace. Perhaps he has. All that hard work getting to the front and then gifted the lead by Fry has decided, okay, now I have control, I'm going to relax. Now that seems like it's played to the advantage of the Frenchman. Fry, of course, he knows what he's doing. But Valentin Lejeune has absolutely taken his foot off the pedal somewhat, allowing Germany access. For the first time, the three teams since the beginning now all sharing a screen. And the final visit to the shooting range here for the men's 4 times 7.5 kilometre relay. Lejeune has the pressure. The 3-time medalist Fry is right behind him and is hungry for another gold. And Fund has connected. He's closed so much time on that last lap due to Lejeune and Fry going so slowly. And now there is an opportunity for Germany to get back on top. But Fry, shooting fast, has a miss on the third shot, has a miss on the fourth. And all that control and all that speed out the window for Fry as he needs to get these targets. A miss from France. Germany now with an opportunity, but Fry goes 5 out of 5. Can Fund get all 5 without spares? He does! Absolutely phenomenal shooting now from Germany, from Fund, who's managed to claw back such a lot of time in skiing on that last lap, but now has managed to get in on the chase of Isaac Leknes Fry. But France now in trouble. They are not going to be fighting for a gold or silver. Lejeune struggling to get that spare round in. He's out of the fight. Czechia trying to do something special and perhaps contend with France, who managed finally to get the rounds down. But what a shame. France now in third place, 32.9 seconds back. I can't believe it. Fund managed to claw back all that time, and now Italy are back in the picture. Picture with Pircher of Italy, getting all 5 targets down, and Czechia, an absolute nightmare. We saw him squatting, his legs are shaking, and he's got 3 rounds to get, well, 2 rounds now to get 2 targets. It's minimum 450 meters of extra loops around the penalty. And could it be 5 penalty loops for Czechia? A devastating end to such a wonderful race for them up until this point. Sweden, they go and get their 5 targets down, 2 spares used. But now, Fry was relaxing on the second last lap. He was chilled. He was playing tactics, whereas Fund was working hard. They can see each other, and surely that gap cannot be closed. Fry is just too powerful. But Fund with the comeback. Fry took such risk allowing Fund to close that gap. And Fund repeating his success that he had on the World Cup, which we must all remember. He did nothing wrong, but his team was disqualified. They stood atop the podium. They celebrated for such a long time before the disqualification was announced. And now, despite the fact that it was a completely fair disqualification, Fund has had a fantastic European Championships. 7th place in the individual sprint, he was 6th. And then he climbed to get the silver medal in the pursuit competition. And now he is fighting for the gold. Isak Leknes Fry looks over his shoulder. He knows he has company, but he also knows that he has an insurmountable gap. The gap at the end of shooting number 8 was 4.2 seconds. Fund is now 10.5 seconds behind the Norwegian. It looks like it's going to be a gold once again for Fry, for Norway. And the favourites of the day unable to answer, but did so well to come back just at the last moment. Valentin Lejeune of France in 3rd place, 46.5 seconds back, and he can enjoy the space that he has around him. He doesn't need to attack too much. He can't close in on 2nd place. He's not going to get caught. And now Fry is about to take Canada out. Gauthier of Canada there on the left of your screen, moving to the side as Isak Leknes Fry is about to lap Canada. And there's the gap. Fund is still chasing, and he is still being told that he has to work, he has to fight, he has to give everything he has. He's being told that why not try and go for that gold. Anything can happen in racing. A fall could happen. Isak Leknes Fry, although we know from this perspective here, is not going to crumble. He's not going to hit the wall. He's very unlikely to have any trouble in towards the finish line now. Fund should act on the assumption that something still can go wrong. There is only 10 seconds separating silver from gold. And Fund has absolutely shone at this championships. And he's told the world that he is a biathlete to look out for in the future. The 22-year-old with a 100% hit rate in prone. And 3 World Cup starts. But now your leader with the space and time to collect the Norwegian flag. An absolutely incredible race from Norway. And Fry is now medalled in each race. And his 2nd gold, leading Norway to victory at home for the first European Championships held here in Sjusjøen. It's going to be gold for Norway. And in 2nd place, an unbelievable performance from Germany. Fund carries the German team into silver with an astonishing shoot at the very end. An astonishing 2nd last lap. And Fund celebrating the Norwegian success. But here comes France, sauntering in after earning themselves a bronze medal today. Lejeune struggling on the final shoot, but he was head-to-head with one of the best and certainly could not have anticipated the immense performance of Fund to get all 5 targets down after closing 20 seconds in just half a lap. But there is your bronze medalist. France comes across the line, claiming the bronze, 3rd place, and yet another medal bringing France's tally up to 12 medals in total here at this Open European Championships, 6 of which are bronze, 4 are gold and 2 are silver. And now Italy will be saddened by the fact that they were not on the podium when they did have a chance. 2 penalty loops too many. Bionat struggling too much on the stand shoot. And they can relax and enjoy the snowfall here as they come across the line with an excellent performance. It's going to be 4th place now for Italy. 1 minute 37 back. And now the performance that I was not expecting from Sweden. They pulled it out the bag. A well-earned, a well-fought 5th place. Nordgren, the man to do it at the end for Sweden. But now Heikkinen, one of the fastest legs for Finland, in 6th place. They will be happy with their 2 minutes and 18 seconds back. And now Haslinger of Austria, he's coming in for Austria. The team with 10 spare rounds used, 1 penalty loop in total. And of all the teams who have crossed the line so far, only one of them has not been on the loop, and that's Finland. Every other nation has been round the penalty loop. Czechia, they come across the line in 8th. It was going so well. And they were fighting for a podium. They were fighting for a gold throughout much of the race. But then it all fell apart. Strivteki in the stand shooting, his legs were shaking. He was squatting trying to fix it, but he could do nothing. And 4 penalty loops later, they're in 8th. Isak Leknes-Frey leads the Norwegians to the top of the podium, to gold on home snow as the snow falls all around them. Gerhardsen took leg 1, Kalkenberg leg 2, Nevland leg 3, and Frey leg 4. Gerhardsen did exactly what he needed to do. He maintained a spot near the top. The fastest leg 1 time, actually, Gerhardsen. And now Poland coming in. Skrusa now coming in for Poland. They were ranked number 12 coming into this race and are now coming across the line in a happy 10th with only 2 penalty loops to their name. Ukraine just in front of them. No penalty loops for them. The second team not to be around the loop. 11 spares used, just as Finland has. Lithuania also without a single penalty loop and 8 spare rounds used, 11th place. And now Team USA coming in 13th place behind Switzerland, who were 12th. And now the United States crossing the line in 13th place, 6 penalty loops to their name, the most of any nation so far to have crossed the line, which of course they will be disappointed with, but there are positives within every single race here. And that's the importance of these races, these absolute pinnacle moments where no race should be forgotten, good or bad. Everyone is an opportunity to learn and to extract positives. And there's your leaders. Slovakia now coming in towards the line. Fabian Chesnik taking out the early lead for Slovakia, now 14th place. And here we have a sprint finish between Belgium, Kazakhstan. And who's it going to be? Belgium has the advantage coming around the corner and has managed to maintain that advantage with Parmentier coming across the line in ahead of Kazakhstan. And behind them, Moldova, unable to respond. But a fierce battle on the last lap, hard fought. Kirill Bauer of Kazakhstan there, unable to keep with the pace. And here's your German team: Seidel, Kaiser, Reitmüller, Fund. On paper, the favourites. France have had the momentum throughout this event at this most beautiful venue here in Sjusjøen, Naturstillen, but just weren't able to pull it together, in large part due to the fact that Lejeune did struggle on that last shoot, calling into question whether the French team had the right start order. Antonin Guéguenat going leg number 1, I get that. Levet, gold medalist in the sprint, perhaps he was your last leg man. He loves the sprint competitions. He says it's his favourite. Paterel, he also was on the podium in the sprint, whereas Lejeune in the sprint was 50th. That's a lot of pressure to put him ahead or up against Isaac Leknes-Frey. And of course, I think the French would have gone for the strategy of try and get a lead over the Norwegians on leg 2 and 3, which of course wasn't possible because they were playing catch-up. And they did pit their fastest skiers in against Germany's fastest skiers, Kaiser and Reitmüller, but of course they didn't know where Kaiser and Reitmüller were going to be placed. But now Estonia coming across the line, wearing bib number 17. And now Belchinski of Bulgaria. They weren't lapped, and for these later nations, that would have been one of the anxieties as the race unfolded. Was there the possibility of being lapped? And they've managed to hold it together. And they come across the line. 8 minutes, 59 seconds back. 4 penalty loops to their name as a team. Canada, they were lapped, but came in 20th. Slovenia, 21st. Australia, 22nd. Great Britain, 23rd. And Denmark, 24th. So your winners today, we have Norway at the very front. They claimed the gold medal here for the men's 4 times 7.5 kilometer relay. Germany came second place, only 6.5 seconds back off the lead. And France with the victory, with the bronze medal, I should say, after so many victories in the races before. And perhaps with a good shot at a victory this afternoon with the women's 4 times 6 kilometer relay competition. Do tune in for that. It's going to be dramatic. And I thank you for staying with us as we prepare now for the medal ceremony. I've been Scott Dixon. I've enjoyed talking you through these races, where Norway really did have a lot of excitement, a lot of unexpected moments. At exchange number 2, they were 10 seconds back. Exchange 3, they always managed to claim it back by the time of the exchange, but at each respective shoot, that wasn't the full story. They did drop all the way down to 10th at the they were in 3rd after exchange number 2, but at shooting number 4, they were in 4th. Coming into that shoot, however, they were in 10th. Kalkenberg, after his penalty loop, was in 9th at the end of shoot number 3, so his first prone. So he had a lot of work to do to come back, but Antonin Guiganat was the first of those to go on the penalty loop from the field of athletes that we thought were going to perform well. France having to use a lot of spares. And on the day, it didn't all come together for France as they crossed the line in third. For the bronze medal, a position which I think is fairly reasonable to have anticipated for them, Germany with Seidel, Kaiser, Riedmüller and Fund, they claim the silver medal, only 6.5 seconds back. Perhaps today's favourites, just falling short. And there is your leaders. Gerhardsen did exactly what he should have done. Kalkenberg went around the penalty loop, but somehow managed to hand over just 10.8 seconds down. Nevland of Norway, once again, did his job perfectly. 10 out of 10. He shot fast, he shot accurately, he did not use any spare rounds, handing over in second place by less than a second. Over to Fry, who did what Fry does best. He stayed composed. He got the targets down in prone. He used 2 spares in stand. And then he claimed the gold medal for himself, for his team, for his nation, Norway. Your gold medalist today for the men's 4 times 7.5 kilometer relay at the Open European Championships. And the men now can rest knowing that the races are over. 4 races in 5 days for most of those biathletes out on the field today. This afternoon, we have the women's relay, which you should most definitely join us for. It promises lots more excitement, but France is already at the very top of the medal table. That is not going to change. They have won in terms of medal totals across the men's and women's field cumulatively. The women will start at 13:45. That's 1:45 Central European time. But let's hear from your gold medalist today.
Is it to get a strong start from the beginning on?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous before the start because the shape hasn't been so good, but I slept well tonight, and yeah, it was real good to have the shape today and good shooting at the shooting range and send Kasper out with yeah, good advantage.
That sounds great, Kasper. For you also, congrats, you're a European champion. How does it feel and how is it to be with these guys in a team?
It is very good. Sivert did a very good first lap, and we have these 2 strong guys in the last 2 laps, so it's very cool to be a part of this team, so yeah.
That's nice to hear. The next starter were Martin. Congrats also. You had a perfect shooting. How would you describe your race today?
It was hard, but my goal was to just send Isak out in the front. Then we have the championship king to seal it off in the end. So yeah, I was quite happy with my leg.
Super, Isak, you were the last athlete. You give everything at the shooting, and I saw that your teammates were very exciting. How would you describe your race, and how is it to now have 4 medals won here?
It was a nervous race. We was a bit tactical in the second loop and let Germany and Funde get closer behind, but I knew I had the fresh legs on the last loop and really happy to be the decider here.
Congrats and thank you.
Thank you.
A fantastic race for Norway. Perhaps anticipated, but Gerhardsen was one of the weaker legs in the field, and Kalkenberg hasn't been up to his usual form, so both athletes managing to do a great job today, even despite Kalkenberg's penalty loop. And despite all those spare rounds that these biathletes have access to, so many penalty loops today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the medal ceremony for the IBU Open European Championship in relay men. Third place and bronze medalist.
Antonin Giganau will be relieved that the team managed to stay on the podium despite his early trouble, shall we say, on the shooting range. And that's after so much success in the individual, where Antonin Giganau, of course, took away the gold medal on that occasion. But Antonin Giganau handed over to Damien Levet, who handed over to Gatin Paturel, who finally handed the baton over to Valentin Lejeux to claim the bronze medal for France. Germany was led off by Seidel, who ended up on the penalty loop in the stand shooting, dropping Germany down 42 seconds. Kaiser managed to bring that down to 43 seconds. Reitmuller managed to bring that down to 27 seconds. And in the space of half of the second last lap, Fund managed to get that 27 seconds down to 6, which he then maintained behind the leader till the finish. So in the space of half a lap, Fund managed to take back as much time as his whole team combined over the course of a race. So a big risk there from Isaac Leknes-Frey, who was playing tactics and allowing Lejeune, the slower and less good athlete between them, to come through and dictate pace. And now, your European champions, Team Norway. Perhaps not a shock to the system, seeing Norway on top, as they were last year. Isaac Leknes-Frey familiar with that position. But what a performance. Norway had the perfect start. Geir Harsen did exactly what he needed to, despite being off form. Kalkenberg struggled, but got a bit lucky. The other nations also ended up on the penalty loop. And so Norway was back 10.8 seconds at the end of Kalkenberg's leg. Not too much damage done. And Nevland did the perfect job. 10 out of 10. He skied quickly. And he handed over, if not in first, 0.4 seconds down in second, to Isaac Leknes-Frey, who didn't miss any targets in prone and went on to get all of the targets down with just 2 spares in the stand, and have enough time on that last lap to carry the Norwegian flag over the line. Norway now with 2 gold medals at this championship. consolidating their second place so far, which now cannot be touched. So France is at the top of the overall medal standings. Norway is at second. That's locked in. Ukraine is in third, which of course can absolutely change. But there's your leaders today. Norway with gold, Germany with silver, and France with bronze. We'll hear the national anthem of Norway, after which point we will end this production, but leading into the women's relay this afternoon.
Well, thank you for staying with us, and I look forward to sharing
the brilliant races once again this afternoon. The final race of this Open European Championships for the women's 4x6 kilometre relay, starting at 13:45 Central European time.